Welcome back, everyone. I am absolutely pumped to have you here today because we're diving into something incredibly personal. In this explainer, we're going to decode whether your brain is actually wired differently than the average person. If you've ever felt just a little bit out of sync with the rest of the world, well, you are definitely going to want to pay close attention to the traits we're unpacking today.
Now here's the absolute most fascinating thing about people who genuinely possess a rare mind. They usually have zero idea they even have one. Literally no clue. They just kind of assume that everyone else is walking around processing the world the exact same way they do. But looking at the psychological insights we're breaking down for you right now, that couldn't be further from the truth. It turns out your mind might be operating on a totally unique frequency without you even realizing it.
Okay, let's dive right into this with the Rare Mind Test.
As we go through these traits, I want you to treat them like a mirror for your own thought process. But here is the golden rule for today's assessment. You absolutely do not need to relate to every single thing we talk about. Actually, scratch that. It's more like if you recognize just 3 or 4 out of the next 6 signs in yourself, the chances are incredibly high that you've got a truly rare mind. So keep that magic number, 3 or 4, in the back of your head as we start the countdown.
Moving on to our first category, let's take a look at your inner thought process. All right, sign number 1. For a rare mind, isolation is often way more stimulating than being shoved into a crowded room. Because you probably have a lower threshold for all that social stimulation, large groups can leave you feeling completely, utterly exhausted. And hey, you aren't alone in feeling like that. But pay attention to what happens when you finally get some time to yourself. It's like a switch flips, right? Your brain suddenly wakes up, diving into this intense, deep focus. You're not antisocial. Your brain just literally requires a quiet environment, free from all that external static, to do its absolute best work. That's when your best ideas strike.
Which brings us right to sign number 2, deep thinking. While most people are perfectly happy stopping at a surface-level answer, just figuring out the what and calling it a day, your mind, it's just getting warmed up. You operate on this really deep analytical level, constantly asking why and how. Now, I know, this relentless overthinking can definitely be frustrating. It can for sure keep you staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., but it's exactly this psychological drive to push past the surface that elevates your intellect way above average.
Next up, being misunderstood as lazy.
Now, what's really interesting here is sign number 3, because it is a massive twist on how society usually judges us. I mean, how many times have you been called lazy just because you didn't immediately jump up and tackle a task? Society loves to frame hesitation as a flaw, but let's completely reframe that stigma right now. You are actually practicing what's called selective action. A rare mind simply refuses to do things blindly. Because your brain prioritizes efficiency, you're taking a beat to calculate if a task is actually worth your time and energy before you commit to the whole shebang. That is definitely not laziness, folks. That is highly strategic energy management.
All right, let's shift gears to reading people and trends.
Our 4th sign is this incredibly advanced people reading ability. If you got a rare mind, you've essentially got a highly tuned, almost instinctual radar for spotting who is genuine and who is totally fake. You can literally feel someone's true intentions right off the bat. And because that radar of yours is so sensitive, you're naturally super selective about who you actually connect with. You don't just let any random person into your inner circle, mostly because you can see right through those surface-level masks that people wear every day.
And this brilliantly illustrates sign number 5, having highly unique interests. A rare mind completely ignores that heavy pressure to just follow popular trends or whatever everyone else is currently obsessing over. Instead, you're entirely driven by your own personal curiosity. Your passions are dictated by what genuinely fascinates your deep-thinking brain, and you really couldn't care less if society thinks it's popular or trendy right now. You just do you.
Finally, we arrive at the ultimate power.
So here we are at sign number 6, which psychology points out is perhaps the most dangerous, and by that, I mean it is absolutely your most potent, powerful trait. We are talking about absolute emotional control. Think about it. In a highly chaotic situation, while the average person instantly and blindly reacts, you rely on a distinct 3-step formula. Step 1, you observe what's going on. Step 2, you mentally process what is actually happening. And step 3, you choose exactly how to respond. Having the sheer discipline to observe and respond with intention, rather than just impulsively flying off the handle, is the ultimate sign of mental fortitude. It gives you an incredible edge in unpredictable situations.
So the crucial point is this, bringing our whole assessment full circle. We've looked at needing isolation to activate your mind, deep thinking, selective action, reading people's true intentions, following your own curiosity, and of course, mastering that emotional control. If you notice just 3 or 4 of these traits within yourself today, well, the psychology confirms it. Your cognitive wiring is, without a doubt, rare.
So it's time for the final tally. How many of these 6 signs did you honestly recognize in yourself? I want you to tally up your score right now and share exactly which signs hit the nail on the head for you down in the comments. Are you a 3, a 4, or maybe you hit all 6? And as you're sitting there thinking about your score, I want to leave you with this final thought. If your mind is naturally wired to operate this uniquely, what incredible things could you accomplish now that you actually know how to use it? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I can't wait to read your results.